The second system in a golf swing is your hips and your legs. I think every golfer knows they should be turning their hips, but not every golfer knows how. And really understanding how the hips work and what their job is in a golf swing is very important. But your hips are going to be turned by using your legs, and your legs are also going to help to produce a lot of the energy and the forces produced in a golf swing to hit the golf ball a long way. Firstly, they're going to help to accelerate the rotation of your hips, which will accelerate the rotation of your shoulders, but they're also going to use the ground forces to press up and against the releasing of the arms, which will accelerate the arms under club through the golf ball. So how exactly does this work? Again, if you look at the starting position in a dress, you've got your hips in a particular position. And it's quite simply the hips which are pulled around as you turn your upper body. So what happens with the hips in the backswing should be passive. What's very important is that you keep the angle in your knees. As your left shoulder comes down, you'll feel your right bum being pushed back slightly, your right hip moving back slightly, and the left hip moving out and forward. This movement has a feeling as if your right foot was building the axis of a door, and the side of the door was simply opening. Obviously, when you get the left side of the door open, you want to close it again. And unfortunately, this is where the hip rotation starts to get a little bit difficult. In order to close the door without the right side of the door coming forward, you're going to have to brace the right leg. Physics says simply that if your mass is in the center and you move or apply a force to the left side of your hips, the right side will come forward. So in order to move the left side of your hips back without the right side coming forward, you've got to apply a pressure to the right foot as well. So as I turn away, I'm allowing my upper body to pull my hips forward. My left hip forward, my right hip is staying back. Before I start the downswing, I will brace my right leg to hold my right hip back and then use the left foot with the diagonal movement forward to push the left hip back to its starting position. When the left hip is back in its starting position, I will let it go a little bit further before the right hip slides over and into the left side in the downswing. So the feeling of weight transferal happens very, very late in the downswing. I don't want to get to the top and shove myself over. I don't want the pressure on my right foot to push me to the left and cause me to slide, because that will probably cause me to tilt as well. What I'm trying to do is to get the left hip back in its starting position by pressing back with the left foot and holding with the right foot. And then as the left hip goes around the corner, so to speak, the right hip will slide over, and that will give me my usual impact position. Again, if you look at it, you can see that I'm taking the golf club back, my left hip is coming forward, I'm bracing both knees, then I push back with the left knee and upper thigh whilst holding with the right, pull down with my right side of my body, push back with the left, and then the hip comes over and I release through the golf ball. So this feeling of a weight transfer is happening very late in the downswing. It's not happening right at the beginning. I'm keeping the right hip back, and by keeping the right hip back, I'm keeping room for me to get my right shoulder and club down on plane. If at the beginning of the backswing the right hip comes forward, then the right shoulder will go forward and the club will come from out to in the downswing. Getting control over your lower body in the downswing is the key to keeping the club on plane and hitting straight golf balls.